Hey y'all, it's Jenny Mosley, and we are here live with the Elevate Effect. It's time to take the dental field to a whole nother level. Fly with me, folks. Let's get real and let's get uncomfortable. All right, y'all, here's Jenny Mosley with the Elevate Effect. I invited Kevin Bril from Minnesota to talk to us today. He has kind of transformed his career, and want you to tell us about it because it's not been an easy road.
No, it certainly has not. First of all, thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. I started practicing about 15 years ago, and I did a lot of the general dentistry where it was just tooth by tooth, seeing, thousands of patients over the years. And it just became so much that I was running between rooms. It was not fun. I was tired at the end of the day. When I would go home with my family, I was just cranky. It was not working for me. So what I tried to do was learn as much as I could about higher end dentistry, cosmetics, TMJ stuff, to go ahead and help people in a different way and kind of slow things down and create more of a relationship with the patient rather than seeing so many people.
What's interesting is I've never worked in a general office, and so I haven't had the joy. So it's been a passion if I found a dentist who is willing to see it differently. And so it's not been an easy road, man.
No, it certainly has not. There's been a lot of trials and tribulations that we'd had to go through to get to this point.
Right. So you were with an office.
Yes.
And tried to actually become custom inside of it.
Yes.
And tell me a little bit how that worked.
That was a disaster.
Okay. That's a good adjective.
That
actually
it was really
sums it up.
tough to have two different philosophies in one place. There's a lot of mixed messages, and even with staff would get jealous at the other staff that was doing something different. Why weren't they included? It just created more HR headaches than anything.
Yeah. So then so we're like, okay, we can't do this here, but maybe we could be a part of it still and just move locations.
Yes.
And so how did that go?
The idea was great.
Yeah.
Because, it was in the same building that we had the general practice in, and there was space on the bottom floor where we could have made it happen, but ultimately the two different philosophies just didn't meld together, and, my former partner and I decided that it just wasn't a good idea to do it in the same place.
Yeah, consistency is key, right?
Yes.
So, it's just, if you think you can't do it inside the practice, why would you be able to do it with partnership, right?
Well, exactly. My thought was I had the building, so why not? But yeah.
Yeah. So then from that step, we then go, okay, now we got to go find a place.
Yes.
And that was a shit show of itself.
Yes,
Yeah.
That's an understatement.
Yeah.
Just looking at general practices and starting back from square one was very, very difficult to do.
Yeah, I know. Put you through the ringer. But it's interesting. You follow everything that people around you are offering for suggestions for you, and you prove that because you're able to understand there's professionals that do stuff for a reason, and you just take that in faith and trust that you're a good dentist and we're good at what we do, and it's all moving in the right direction. So kudos to your commitment. Maybe you can share a little bit about that, because there are a lot of people are scared of shit. They don't want to give up anything, and yet they want to gain. So you can't have both.
Yeah, I guess it's a little bit of a leap of faith, but I feel that with the skill set that I've amassed over the past 15 years, I wanted the ability to do that more. And I saw some people that were doing it more. And I had to find a way to get there, and I couldn't do it by myself. So I started looking into people who could help me do that, which is where I came across you guys, and it's completely transformed how I think about dentistry and how I do everything.
Yeah, it's unbelievable to watch your all's transformation. You still have a far way to go.
Yes, we do.
But because of your commitment to your vision, and Reeves and I were talking the other day about so many people try to actually attack something, but they don't have a vision and an end game. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have that, then you don't know how to stick to it.
Yes.
And you truly have it with everything you do. And it's remarkable how far you've come in such a short time. It's been hard. You've gotten rid of patients They've been angry.
Yeah.
They've even said stuff online because they didn't take it well. I mean, you have been through all of it.
Yep.
You've had past employees that are saying bad stuff. You
Correct.
had partnerships fall apart.
Yep.
You've lost patience. You went down to almost nothing. And you're still here investing in yourself and your team to win. And you are winning. I mean, you just had an incredible month without zero marketing.
True.
So tell us a little bit about how all that feels.
I guess I have a pretty incredible chin, I guess. I keep getting punched over and over again, but...
Well, don't you feel like sometimes punching makes you stronger? Like, does it give you a fire to kind of go, you know what, I'm going to show you?
It's motivation.
Yeah.
Like, I'm big on that, and people think I can't do it. I'm going to show you that I can.
Yeah.
It's what drives me.
Yeah. So, in moving forward now, you just got rid of pretty much all insurance. That's gone.
Yep, it's gone now.
And now we're moving forward to kind of being at that custom level. What do you think for yourself are the scariest parts of the next step?
Not sinking. To make sure that goals are met every single month is probably the biggest weight on my shoulders. To make sure we have this new flux of patients coming in that we can offer services to.
Yeah. Well, we've got that photo shoot coming up, and
Yes.
we got to make really smart moves in branding and logo. Your brand is, I mean, man, we started off with a good step with making a good logo, good colors, very classy, work on the building.
Yeah.
So, we're moving in the right direction. But I do believe that this year you could make your goal.
That'd be lovely if I could.
Do you feel you can?
I feel it's going to be close.
Okay. What do you think would hinder you, and what do you think would get you there?
Just having the patient flow would get me there.
Okay.
I feel, this is so new to me that you're not pulling from hygiene to go ahead and diagnose and do all that kind of stuff. You're basically relying on outside sources for people to come in, which is very difficult and hard for me because I don't know how it's going to end up.
It's the unknown.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it creates for you to be really intentful.
It does.
I mean, you got to have the right people in the right place. You got to make sure all the people are intentful every single step of the way, so that by the time it gets to you, there is no question.
Yes.
And that's why we're being really intentful, even with getting you out there, to let people see you in a light that's, a conversation. Like, hey, I saw you in this, so you like those things, and now you're their friend.
Yeah.
And so all those pieces play a part. Minnesota has not been easy to find employees either. That's been a shit show. So,
No, it's been bad timing. Yeah.
Yeah, and you went through this even right post COVID. So all of it's.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have already sank.
Yeah, surprised that I didn't.
Yeah. So
it's still going month by month.
So what would you give advice for somebody that's like on teetering, like, oh my gosh, I kind of want that. It sounds like a dream, but I'm scared shitless.
You got to find the right people to help you, because it's very, very difficult for someone to do it by themselves. If you don't have that support or coaching, it's just not going to work.
I also think when you're experiencing something and you become successful from it, you don't want to sit in it, but do me a favor and just go backwards a little bit and sit in it for a little bit, because there's a lot of dentists out there that really they're thinking, oh God, this sounds like it's easy, and they're scared. It's not easy. Really, can you share a little bit deeper as to how much those struggles were?
It was very difficult with the two different visions in a partnership to make things work. And it became a situation where relationships were ended because of it. Mm-hmm. People that you really trusted and looked up to, we don't talk anymore.
I know that too.
So
well.
It's very difficult to move past that, and it's not easy. There were times where I was like, I'm doing the wrong thing. But there's something in the back of my head that said, hey, you got to keep pushing forward. This is what you want, keep doing it.
So that's probably the difference a little is, you had a vision.
Yeah, I saw what I wanted to be.
Yeah. Maybe that's one of the things that some of these dentists, they want to do something, but they maybe not see themselves doing it. So how did you create that for yourself? I mean, was it just the crappy stuff you were doing for so long in your eyes with dentistry, or what was it all of a sudden that you said, I got to be something different in dentistry?
It was the constant repetition of crappiness, basically, of doing the same thing over and over again and getting to the point in a general office where I was running 4 columns and just sprinting all over the place, doing dentistry left and right, and just being massively productive for the practice, and then getting not paid for what I was worth.
Yeah. And that's, I think, the ticket here really is like when you're producing a ton in the general dental way, as to what I hear about, it is, I mean, the ROI is not what it looks like on a schedule.
No, it's not.
It's mind-blowing to me. I'm like, these people are fools.
Yeah, the production versus collection number is the biggest thing you got to realize, that production doesn't matter. It's just what you're bringing in.
Yeah, I mean, we do our financial statement monthly. I stay in a surplus of $500,000 always in patient prepaying money to us.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of this practice. They stay in an aging report that's a positive, and mine is in a negative.
Yes.
And so it's just like a whole different model, you know?
It's a way to, you're just working smarter,
Yeah.
not harder. Because a lot of people out there in the general dentistry, if I do more, you're going to get more back. That's not how it should be. You should slow down, do less, and do more on those less people.
Yeah, and make more, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So real quick before we go, when you bought the second practice and you tried again to kind of keep somebody with you, maybe the mind frame for yourself was, I got to keep production, or these patients, maybe relationships. I mean, what was the thought as to why you just didn't cut him at the knees?
Well, the thought was that I took over this practice that had about 3,000 patients in it, and I was under the impression that it's going to be a little bit too much for me. So I wanted to keep someone on to kind of help me out, and he had been there before. He knew all the patient base, so I thought it'd be a good way to transition. However, we ran into the same issue of his vision was way different than mine, and he basically didn't see eye to eye with what I was doing, so we decided to mutually part ways.
Yeah, so you're gonna go through partnerships that end. I mean, one of my favorite people in the world, business partner, we don't even talk anymore.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're going to lose people along the way if you really want something. And unfortunately, that's going to happen. So people out there, you may lose employees sometimes. You may lose partners. You may, not have people around. But what's your vision? Pick it. Because if you want it, it'll get there. You just got to take sacrifices to do it.
True. And you got to realize it's a business. At the end of the day.
At the end of the day,
it's
amen.
a business, and friends will come and go.
Yep.
But
amen. Well, thanks so much, Kevin. I mean, there's a lot of folks out there that really want what you're striving to have, and you're so close. And man, the sky's the limit, because we're going to build big together.
I'm looking forward to it.
Boom.